Welcome back, guys, for another lecture. Today we're gonna talk about group by clause, having clause, and also group function. As you can see, this is the fourth lecture for the series SQL for beginners, so I would advise you to watch the previous lectures as well in order to keep up. Now, talking about group by clause and having clause, as we understood from the previous lectures, we talked about the select statement or the select query, right? So whenever you're writing a query, it starts with a DML command, and the most DML command that we are using right now is select statement, right? So the select statement, basically you are selecting a specific attribute from the database in order to display. So here you have an attribute name, and here I'm just revising the general syntax, right? From a specific table, so basically you have here a table name, then you have where clause. The where clause, you need to consider a condition, okay? So here you have a condition, and then you have order by. Basically you are trying to order your display of information based on a specific attribute. So here order by a specific attribute name, and based on the value of that attribute name, your information will be displayed accordingly. So the order can be either in ascending order or in descending order, okay? Then now we talk about the new clauses that we have: group by clause and having clause. So here we're talking about group by, and as you can see, the group by clause comes before the order by. So you need to group your result based on a specific attribute, okay? So you have here an attribute name. And also in the having clause, basically having also comes before the order by section. So having is basically deals with another condition, okay? But you will ask me that why we are using having clause to determine a specific condition for our display while we have the where clause. But now I'm here to tell you that where clause is basically for normal conditions, like you're trying to compare values, or you're trying to get rid of specific string and whatnot. But the having condition is basically, it's a condition that contains a group function, okay? A condition that contains a group function. And now you will ask me why or what is group function. Group functions is here as listed below. We have count, we have count all, max, min, sum, and average, okay? So this count right here, basically you are trying to count the frequency, or you're trying to count the presence of a specific attribute, okay? So now we will go in details about how you can use every function and what is every function is there for, and then you can see how I'm using this syntax and how I'm using where condition, how I'm using group by, how I'm using having, and how I'm using the order by, right? Now when we talk about group function, here we have what? Count, okay? So again, when we want to select a first name, let's say first name, and again I'm gonna use the tables that are, or the databases that are available here, let's say human resources, and we used employees table with other videos as well, the previous lectures. So here I want to get what? First name from the HR database, from the employees table. So here we have from the HR database dot employees table, and if I click run, I will get what? All the first names we have in the employees table, okay? Let's say that I want to count how many first names I have. If I want to count how many first name I have, basically I'm trying to count this first name using the count function, as I explained in previous lectures how to use functions. All right, we talked in previous lectures about number functions, we talked about character functions, and also we talked about date functions. Here we will talk about what? Group functions. Okay, this is how we use a function. Every function has a bracket, and inside the bracket you have to specify a specific attribute name, and other functions we will use them differently. But for now, every function of the group functions you're gonna use, you're gonna what? Open the brackets and then give an attribute name. So here I'm trying to count how many first names I have. So the display is not gonna be the first names in details, all right, like this one. So basically it will just give me the number of how many first names I have. So if I click run, I can see here that I have how many? I have 107 first names, and this will tell me by default that I have what? 107 employees. So what are the differences between count with an attribute and count all with an asterisk? Because in database, as we explained, asterisk means all. Okay, so now if you want to count how many employees, I'm not talking about first name here, I'm talking about I want to count how many employees I have, I can just say asterisk. Count all, that means you are counting employees, right? If I click run, again, counting employees will give me what? 107. It's the same thing. It will give me the same output, because of course every employee will have a name. So that's why the previous two examples give us the same thing, right? So basically these two functions right here, count and count all, it will give you a number of something. So here the count attribute, it will give you how many values you have in that attribute, and count all, it will give you how many rows within the table. So how many rows in the table is 107. Why? Because I have 107 employees, right? Max, min, sum, and average, it's self-explanatory. Here you're trying to determine what is the maximum value of a range of numbers, what is the minimum value of a range of numbers, what is the summation of various numbers, and also here what is the average. So here if I want to give an explanation here, I can say something like let's say select first name and salary, right? You can see that the salary is a range of numbers, right? Every employee is taking a different value of a salary. So what if I want to determine who is the employee gets the most salary? Okay, so let's say if I want to describe max salary, so here I'm gonna display the maximum amount of salary that an employee gets, which is here one employee here gets 24,000. So what is the minimum salary that we can give? Minimum salary, as you can see here, the minimum salary is 2001, so 2100. So here we have an employee who takes 2100, and we have an employee who takes what? 24,000, right? Then we want to, let's say, get the average of all salaries. Let's say average of all salaries, right? If I want to get the average of all salaries here, I can see that we have an average right here, and I can use also the round function. Again, this is a function that we talked about in number function, using number functions lecture. If I run, I can get here what? The average salary using the round, because I don't need the fraction of numbers right here. I don't need the decimal point and the fraction of numbers, right? So this is the maximum salary that is given to an employee. This is the minimum salary among all employees, and here this is the average salary among all employees. All right, now I want my display to be more informative. Let's say if I do something like this, I want the first name, I want a salary, and also I want a department ID. Okay, again, these attributes I'm not bringing them from my mind. It's all in the human resource database, and all it is in the uh, employees table. So here you have what? First name, I'm using salary, I'm using department ID. And as you can see here, you have what? Name, salary, department ID. Name, salary, department ID. As you can see, these three are in the same department. These four or these five are in the same department. These ones are in the same department. These ones are in the same department. So what I can do here, I can group the output, okay, based on the department ID to see the maximum salary in each department, the minimum salary in each department, and the average salary in each department. Okay, so the keyword here, that whenever you want to group or whenever you want to display a specific output in each segment or in each department or in each something else, you will always need to use the grouping, which is here we talked about grouping by, let's say, department ID. So I can in every department display what is the maximum salary. So here, let me get back the original code here, okay, and let me say here group by department ID, and this is where the magic happens. If I click run, I can see here that these are different numbers from different departments, but these like bunch of maximum salaries, bunch of minimums, and bunch of averages, right? But that does not make any sense. Why? Because I'm grouping it by the department ID, right? So to make the display makes more sense, I can also display the department ID in front of all that, so I can basically interpret what is going on. So in department 50, this is the maximum salary for the employees, this is the minimum salary, and this is the average. For department 40, this is the maximum, minimum, and average. 110, maximum, minimum, average. 90, maximum, minimum, average. So you can see here that I can get the maximum and minimum and average salaries values in each department separately, okay? Each department. All right. So this is basically grouping, okay? Let's say that I want to only display the departments whose their average salary is greater than 5,000, okay? Now you're telling me that, oh, this is a condition. So here we have a where condition clause, and let's say here where, let's say average, we said the average salary should be what? Greater than 5,000. But here, this code right here is not gonna work. Group function is not allowed here. The group function is not allowed in the where clause. That's why we are having what? The having clause. In the having condition, it's a condition that contains a group function, which is we find it right here, okay? So instead of writing my function in the where clause, I have to write it in the having clause. I don't need to have the where clause. And then here, if I click run, now I can see that all this display right here, all the averages are above 5,000, okay? If I want to change this number to 7,000, now we have a different display right here. So all the averages are above 7,000. So this is right here how you can manipulate it. So if I want to say order by, let's say salary, or let's say order by, can I do max salary, and let's say in descending order, is that gonna work? Yep. So now I displayed the averages that are above 5,000 in each group, or above 7,000 in each group, and also I ordered the display to be ordered based on the salary in descending order. That means the max salary right here will be in descending order from the highest to the lowest, and as you can see, from 24,000 all the way down to 10,000, okay? So this is basically how you can use max, min, and average, and also how you use the group by, and also how you use the having clause. You're using the having clause whenever the condition is containing a group function, either average, max, minimum, or whatsoever, right? And let me also display the sum. Let's say I want to use the sum of all salaries in a specific department. If I click run, as you can see, in department 90, this is the max salary, this is the minimum salary, this is the average of the salaries, and this is the summation of all the salaries that are given in this specific department, as you can see right here. Department 80, these guys are bowling, as you can see, as 300k, right? This is the summation of all the salaries. If I do it like in this manner without grouping, and I want to display the summation of the whole salaries that given to the all employees in all departments, I can just clearly do like this, and as you can see, this is the summation of all the salaries given to all the employees in all departments, which is almost 700k. All right, I hope that makes sense. This is basically in a nutshell the usage of group functions, and also here how you can group them using the group by statement, and having also the having clause. Having clause, as we said, it's a condition, but the condition contains a group function. All right, and also we demonstrate how to use the order by. I hope that you guys found this video useful. If you found so, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more lectures related to SQL, and also stay tuned for other lectures related to other courses like programming languages and web development and so on. Until next time, have a good day, guys.